Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizBuzz Igniting Success on the newsstreamingnetwork.com, which is home of Going Solo and Going Bold Media and WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio. I want to thank you guys for joining us here today. I am your host, Cece Shatz. I'm fondly called the Doyenne of Relationship Building, and I want to thank you for joining us. We've got to have a really great show here today because we're going to talk about being bold, and you know I love that, being bold, but be bold yet have an approachable touch. And I think that's very, very important because, as we're moving forward in business, it's very, very important to us to not only, be strong in what we do, go forward, but, we got to be approachable too. And a lot of people feel like when they see someone on the camera or whatever, they're not approachable. And so we want to be able to have that feeling for our audience, and for those of you that are out there listening, we want you to know that we are approachable. And so what better way to share that with our host today? We have KJ Blattenbauer. If I'm saying her name correctly, I'm going to bring her up. So hopefully I didn't mess that up too bad. But she is a powerhouse publicist who turns overlooked experts into headline news. With nearly 30 years of experience, she's the go-to pro when you're ready to stop being ignored and start owning the spotlight. And what better way, to be able to do that than to have KJ on. So thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
It is great having you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, you are actually the founder of Hearsay PR. You're a publicist. And so tell us a little bit about why you decided you want to get into that line of work.
I didn't realize when I was getting into the line of work, even what line of work I was getting into. Growing up, I didn't know anything about public relations. I didn't know what it was. I was back in college before the internet was a thing, right? So we weren't Googling what we wanted to be when we grew up. But I'm from a very small town, and I learned early that everyone is famous in a small town. No matter what you do, someone's going to talk about you. If you get in trouble, it's going to get home to your parents before you get home. So I feel like I learned really early on, being the only daughter between two boys, that I had to learn to spin the story in my favor. I also was a big athlete growing up. And when you're not the best athlete, you become the teammate that's like the hype girl, the person that cheers them on, the silver lining, the person that's on the bench, but being vocal to keep everyone motivated and in the game. And so I feel like my youth really prepared me to be promoting and pushing people out there. When I got to college, I originally went for law school. I wasn't in love with my law school classes. And so I got a PR internship, and the rest is kind of history. I get to spend every single day talking to cool people or talking about bold brands and helping people chase their dreams, getting their stories out there and getting people to notice their product or service or what they're offering to the masses.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I so agree with you because so often we don't know, as we're moving through life, what the heck we're going to be doing and how we end up doing what we are doing. And I'm one of those people that had no idea I'd be doing what I'm doing here today. And so I often get asked that question, how did I start doing this? And it's like, it was just something that happened, something that happened along the way. So let's talk a little bit about, you really do turn overlooked experts into headline news. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. My favorite client is the underdog, the person who thinks they don't have a story, the person that's not a big name already. They might be $0 in revenue. They might be starting up. They might be a side hustler, or they might be in corporate America, just trying to work their way up the corporate ladder and get recognized. I like to help those people find what's unique about them and then step into the spotlight, share what they're good at, share what they're offering, share their product. I think so many people don't realize how important what they're doing is. But if you have a business, if you have a product, if you have a service, you created it because you saw a gap in the marketplace. And right there, that's your story. But it's also up to you to share that with the world. Too many of us, I think, hide behind, I don't want to be on camera today, or I don't want to be famous. But it's not about being famous if you're promoting your business or your service. It's about providing a service to those you can benefit. And they're never going to buy from you. They're never going to invest in your business. They're never going to step into your establishment if they don't know you exist. And so you need to promote them. And I specialize in helping people promote themselves in the right way.
I love that. So can you give us any kind of tips? Because so many people out there are listening to the show and they're starting in business and they're thinking, I don't even know how to begin, because I'm one of those people. I was, trying to figure it out myself, and spent a lot of money on things I didn't need to spend money on. And then things I should have spent money on, I didn't spend money on. And I just didn't know what to do. So if you could kind of give us a little bit of a playbook, and of course, we want to tap into your services. So tell us a little bit about what we need to kind of do and think about.
Sure. I think the first thing anyone needs to do, no matter what your goal is get your house in order. So what it says about you and your business on your website, what it says about you on social media, what's out there for any third-party websites or groups you might be a part of, directories you might be a part of. Make sure that all your imagery is the same. Make sure that all the verbiage is the same. Make sure your helpful sentence or your descriptors, all of those things, the way you want people to think and talk and speak about your business, make sure across the board it's all the same, that your links work, that they're going to the right places, that you're not promoting Christmas holiday now that the Christmas holiday is way behind us, or even worse, you're promoting summer when we're in January, those sorts of things. So many businesses and service providers lose credibility because the second someone Googles them, nothing matches, or the story's not the same, or it's too hard to find them, or the links don't work. So the first rule of anything to promote your business is get your house in order. And that really, at the most, will take a week. In 1 week, it'll take maybe an hour of your time to do it one time, and then set a reminder for yourself. Once a quarter, make sure your house is in order. That's the biggest thing there. The second thing is to get really clear on what is your goal. You want to serve customers. Where are those target customers? Where are they going to be? So get very clear on your goal, and then get very clear, okay, to meet that goal, who do I need to serve? Where are those target customers? And find out where they are. I have a book coming out. And so as an example, I know my target customers, they're not on social media. They're busy running businesses. They're busy making things happen. They're juggling a million things. But what I do know is that they multitask. They're listening to podcasts. They're listening to live streams like this while they're going about their day. And so my marketing strategy, my public relations is all about pitching and promoting myself to be on podcasts, to be on live streams like this, because they can tune in and listen while they work. But I can also give them actionable advice that they can immediately start using in their day. And so I know that's where my target audience is. Now, that might differ if you're a baker. That might differ if you're a coach. It might differ if you're a therapist. It might differ for whatever your business is, but you need to know where your people are, because otherwise, if you're pitching yourself, if you're promoting yourself, if you're stressing yourself out posting on social media all day long, it might be in vain, because that is probably not where your people are. So if you get your house in order, if you know where your people are, then you just have to put yourself out there. And a pitch really is as simple as a direct message on social media or an email, 2 or 3 sentences that just says who you are, who you serve, and why it matters for that person's target audience right this second.
Yeah, you're so right. Years ago, I was asked to go to New York, and there was a publicity summit, and that I attended that. And I really enjoyed that. And that's exactly what they said, in the summit itself. And so I was there for a different purpose, but I remember listening to someone saying the same thing and thinking, wow, that you are so right on that. You definitely need to know that. And cannot tell you how many times I've gone to LinkedIn and clicked on somebody's website and it didn't work, or that type of thing. And so yes, and Google can be your friend. You just got to make sure that it's your friend. So yeah, so absolutely. Right. Yeah.
And you have to make it easy. When people do find you, you have to make it easy for them to buy from you, or sign up to meet you if you have a service call, or to purchase a service from you. You can't make it harder for the people you want to serve. You have to make the path the one of least resistance to help them get the solution you provide.
Right. And then also, I think, as I'm thinking about it and you're talking, I also think you need to, and we've talked about this on the show before, you also need to look at different ways to, like advertise yourself. And like our platform, we're always loving, somebody wants to do a 30-second commercial, or 60-second commercial or something like that. We would love to be able to have that. So there's a lot of, like whatever your genre is, whatever your thing is, there's a lot of podcasters out there that would love to do a little commercial or whatever for you. So find your audience and then go with them and see if you can, do a shout out or something like that would definitely help you. Don't you agree?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yes, there is a million ways for you to build credibility, whether it's through your own channels like social media, your own email list, having your own podcast, but then there's also the leverage of a borrowed network. Like right now, I'm here streaming with you on your network. You have a built-in audience that's different than my normal audience, right? I get to share my message because you're so kindly letting me be on your podcast and take time away from what you normally promote to your audience to help teach them something new, to learn, to help show them, hey, here's how public relations can help you. It's called a borrowed lane. I'm borrowing the audience you've already built to my benefit. And it will also benefit, you have a show to help showcase other business owners. So it benefits me, but it also benefits you because now you'll have access to my network. So borrowed lanes go both ways. And so there's the placing the ads, there's being on podcasts, there's streaming like we're doing, there's putting yourself out there in magazines or your local newspaper. Those third-party borrowed lanes build so much credibility head over heels more than a digital ad will, or more than you just posting on social media ever will for your business. And it also helps narrow the gap between if you need 6 to 7 to 9 to 18 touches before you close a sale, the more familiar people get with your voice, your messaging, and they see you pop up and they see media outlets like this one also confirming that you know what you're talking about, touting you as an expert, you're going to close that sale faster because your audience feels like they know you, but you're also being vetted by other people that they trust.
Right. Absolutely. You're so right with that. Because I know that we've got a few hosts, and I remember talking to one host one time, and they said that whenever they get a new client, they always urge them and give them, their playlist on the YouTube channel, let them watch some of the shows, and they always come back and hire them. So yeah, because, he knows what he's doing, and being on a show and sharing that with the audience repeatedly is definitely showing that. And I love the idea of the borrowed audience, because especially those out there, I tell the podcasters and the video casters that it's okay, it's great to do a show by yourself, because you do want to do that. And I know that our audience always asks me, they say, oh, please do a show by yourself, we love to hear you, and all that kind of thing. But I also feel that it's important to share other people, and I want to be able to do that and share other content and things like that. And so it's important to do that, but it helps me because, like you said, I'm capturing also their audience. When they hear about all the things that we do here on the New Streaming Network, then they go, oh, let's check it out. So it's a win for everyone. So you are spot on with that advice. Absolutely. So anything else that you can suggest for us?
Well, I think we talked about getting your house in order. We talked about knowing your goal and finding where your target audience truly is. We talked about, what a pitch should look like. And I think part of it is that you should also set yourself up for a rejection, right? If you're a business owner, you already know rejection is a thing that happens. But one of the major roadblocks for most people pitching themselves is they don't want to hear no, or they're worried they won't hear back, or they're worried, who knows what they're worried about, but they don't want to hit send. And I just want to assure people that when you hit send, yeah, you might not hear anything. The media is very busy. Podcasters are busy. They're being inundated with other people that want to be on their show. And that's why you wait 5 to 7 days and then you follow up. Forward on the same email, change the FW to follow up. Write one sentence like, hi, just checking in, wanted to make sure this was top of your inbox. Are you still interested in learning about X, Y, and Z for your audience? Keep your original email below so they have a chain of command for what's going on. It never hurts to follow up. No one's ever been offended that you've ever followed up. In fact, for me, I've done publicity for 28 years. I can tell you, I have a 75% response rate to my follow-ups. They are the best. Even with reporters who know I'm sending them emails, the best way for me to get my clients in the news or myself on the news is following up, because we all have the best intentions, but we're busy. And so just that little moving people up the inbox, it's not annoying. You're helping people to do their job and you're giving them stories. The evening news wouldn't exist if they didn't have any stories to cover. You can't talk about the weather for the whole hour, right? Unless there's a weather event happening. You need to have the human interest stories to bring people in. You need to talk about what's going on in the world to keep people moving. And it's the same across every other media channel. So I want to make sure that people follow up. Don't be intimidated if they don't hear something back. But the other thing is, how do I even know who to reach out to? And a trick I love to use is I use Google, because it's at our fingertips and we're all Googling things anyway. But if you search your industry or the 10 or 12 questions people ask you all the time, if you put that into Google, and then where it says it says shopping, it says images at the top. There's also a tab that says news. And if you click on news, you'll find all of the outlets, the podcast, anywhere where they're covering your topic. Click on it. Those are your media outlets. Start building a list. And in that, you'll see the name of the person covering it. Right there, you have a media list. And you don't need 50, you don't need 1,000, you don't need to send hundreds of pitches a week. Send 5, send 10, send 25 and a quarter. That's a great start. That's a fantastic start. And so I think people think they have to go all out, really hard, do everything at once, but baby steps. Just send a couple pitches. If you send 1 pitch a month to one person this month, that's a huge win for your business. And then just keep at it.
Yeah, I love that because I get emails all the time, and we've got several hosts here on the platform. And so what I do is I look at those, and maybe it's not a good fit for me, but I will then share it with someone else. And a lot of times we'll have great guests that we can share on a lot of the platforms, several of the platforms. And so they will. I just ask them, don't try not to do all the shows all at one time, so that you're back to back with the guests, but you can spread it out over the year or 6 months or whatever, and you can have them come back. So yeah, I mean, I don't hesitate because I love to get messages, and if I don't answer, might have went into spam or something like that. So be careful what you are putting on so it doesn't get into the spam. But yeah, I would say most definitely, and send a follow-up, because I've had that happen many times, and they say, we're circling back, and then I realize, oh, I didn't realize I got the other one. So yeah, so definitely do that. We're all in business, right? We're all, and we all need to help each other, because that's really the name of the game. And when I help someone, they help me, and then I help someone else and they help me. And it's just a snowball effect. And so when we're in business, we have to help each other. So I love what you're saying. I do. So anything else? I'm loving the tidbits.
Well, I think it's important to know too that silence is also a strategy, right? I think I'm from the Midwest, and in the Midwest, if anyone speaks to you, it requires a response, or you feel this huge amount of guilt, like you're being rude. It's very un-Midwestern not to respond. But I think in the time of social media, in trolls and negative reviews, in the keyboard warrior era, there's a lot of things that don't require a response. If something isn't factual, do you really need to argue with something on the internet? 9 times out of 10, no, you do not. If it offends you, that's okay. It's all right to be offended. Like, if they're wrong, whatever. If you can't factually point out to someone in a way that they will understand how something works, it's not worthy of getting into a heated battle with them. You can clarify things in your Yelp comments, but if it's just a person who's gone out of their way to create negative stuff and they just keep going and going and going and going, outside of slander and libel, I would really just leave those alone. I don't punch down, and I don't feed the trolls ever. If something's super offensive, I might go into social media and just delete the comment. But usually I just, sometimes any engagement is good engagement because it pushes the numbers up. But I don't have to physically respond to every single thing. And I think that that's a good practice for business owners to get into, because we all get our businesses are our babies, right? And we treat our brands, like they're sacred. And we're always so worried about something saying negative about it. And I think as long as you take a step back and say, okay, this person said this thing. Is it true? Did it really happen? And then the next question should be, is it worthy of a response? And again, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be worthy of a response.
Yeah. I always tell everyone, all the hosts and everything, I say, well, if you get a troll, you get someone like that, then, pat yourself on the back, because you're being successful. You're out there. People are listening. And so you're going to get some negative stuff along the way, and, just let it roll, because that's just what happens. That is the world we live in. That's absolutely the world we live in. But don't go after the person. I agree with you. I think you should just let it slide, unless it's something really, really
Right.
bad. And then you might want to say something or whatever. But generally, I just, again, like you, I just kind of let it slide, unless it really gets to me. then I might respond. But yeah.
Right. There's an old Southern saying, and it's something like, when you argue with an idiot, then there's just 2 idiots, and nobody needs.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing is too is I personally don't want to fill my space with negativeness, right?
Right.
Because I want to keep my vibration up. I want
Yeah.
to keep things going. I want to be in the positive. And so I cannot stand to be in the negative. There's just so much happening in the world that's
Mhm.
negative that we can't control. Let's just focus on what we can control and be positive about it. And it's just a better way to live. Makes you feel better, you know?
1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anything else? We'll do one more before we take our break. So,
Well, I
anything
think
else that you'd like to suggest?
I would say that another reason I think people struggle, that my clients come to me a lot with, is what story? What should I even talk about? What should I be pitching? Where should my content come from? And I think the first one, golden nugget, is going to be, why did you create your business? Why did you start it? Why do you have this product? Why do you have this service? Usually it's because they couldn't find something in the marketplace, or a loved one couldn't find something in the marketplace. And I feel like that's the key. That's media gold. Like, why did you start this? Because there are other people who are facing the same problem that you recognize there was a gap in. Tell your story for them. I think the other way to find content is ask yourself the top 10 or 12 questions that your customers or your target customers are asking you all the time. Give them the answer for that. They're going to see you as the source for their pain point, and they're going to immediately come to you because you are literally addressing the questions you get asked all the time. And that's the easiest way to build a full year's content calendar.
Right. That's great advice. And that is so true because you know your business better than anyone. So, think about those points, those hurt points, and then focus on that. The other thing is too is when you are sharing the spotlight with someone else, it's less time that you have to talk. So you don't have to do so much. You can let them shine. And that's also a very good thing, is to take it off of you and put it onto someone else. So that's wonderful. Well, you really know your stuff, and I want to thank you so much. I am so pleased to have you here with us. And again, her name is KJ Blattenbauer. Am I saying it right?
You are.
All right, I'm saying it right. But I want you guys also to know that she is the founder. She's a publicist and the founder of Hearsay PR. And you guys can reach her at kj@hearsaypr.com. You just go to look at her, you can email her there. And then also look at her website at hearsaypr.com. So check it all out. Make sure gosh, so often we think about how can we get our business going? What can we do? And I think sometimes we need help along the way. If I had known you when I first started, I most certainly would have used you because I tried, I fumbled, I did everything I could. So why fumble, right? Check out our website, hearsaypr.com, and then send her if you got a question, a direction that you want to try to maybe go in and maybe get her advice. Email her at kj@hearsaypr.com. So you guys are listening to BizBuzz, Igniting Success. This is our business show. I hope you're enjoying it right here on the newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo and Going Bold, and our wonderful radio station. All of those out there listening, thank you so much on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And we're going to be right back with a lot more information on getting your business going. So stick around with us and we're going to have a lot of fun. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to BizBuzz Igniting Success here on our business show with newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo and Going Bold. I am your host, Cece Shatz. I am so pleased to be here with you today. I'm fondly called the Doyenne of Relationship Building, and I want to do a shout out to our WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio station. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us. We do appreciate it. Today, we have really got a hot ticket. We've got a wonderful guest. I'm so excited. We have KJ Blattenbauer. Be bold, yet have an approachable style. I think that's so important as we move forward in business to have that approachable style. People want to feel that connection, right? That's what we're all about here on the New Streaming Network and the Going Solo Network. We're all about connection, connecting with other people, really forming a bond to be able to move forward. And so she does that with businesses and helps them really turn their businesses around to overlooked experts into headline news. I love that. So tell us a little bit more, KJ. We had a wonderful first part of the show. I mean, we talked a lot about of different steps that we do. And those of you that didn't listen to the first part, you must go back and re-listen to it because it's going to be right there for you. It's evergreen. We keep it right on the YouTube channel so you can take advantage of listening to it. And again, her information will be on the show notes, so don't hesitate reaching out to her. So let's get on with it. What's the next little tidbit that you can suggest for us?
Well, I think part of it's right in your show title. I think part of it's being bold. And when I tell people to be bold, I'm not asking you to put yourself entirely out there. I'm not asking you to have a 100% Kardashian style reality show. You don't have to share everything. You can share pieces and parts and the stuff that matters to help move your business forward. And only you will know what that is, right? Like there might be an expert like me who can give you advice, but no one should ever share something they're not comfortable sharing. You don't have to put your entire life on display. And likewise, you don't have to do pity marketing. You don't have to think that in order to be bold, you have to be the loudest in the room or the most push the envelope or a total contrarian. And you for sure don't have to be the person that has like the most traumatic TED Talk ever. It's not about getting the most attention. It's about building authority. You are an expert in your field. You are an expert in your industry. And being bold means just having the courage to share your passion and what you know with the masses. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You are in a business because you want to serve others. You want to help them, whether it's through a product, whether it's for giving them escape at a restaurant or having something entertaining they can go do, or help them move their business forward like you do. That all comes from a place of service. And it's not about putting yourself out there to be famous per se. It's about putting yourself out there because you are the vehicle to tell people how they go about that. You are serving people by showing up on camera, by putting yourself out there, by pitching yourself to the local news, by putting yourself in that magazine. You are sharing what you're passionate about with your target audience, with the people you literally built that product, service, business brand for. And by hiding away, by not being bold, you're doing all of those people and yourself a disservice by keeping yourself small. I think a lot of people were taught that if you do really great work, it'll speak for itself. And in the day and age of social media, where there's so much noise, when you can get everything on your fingertips on your phone, that's no longer true. You have to speak up for yourself, or someone who's louder and probably not as educated or as informed or as much of an expert as you in your industry is going to get the attention. And so if you truly want to help people, you need to make sure that you're making yourself visible, because visibility is not vanity. It's not about, oh, look at me, look at what I'm doing, I'm so important, I have all of these things going. Visibility is a leadership skill. You are helping serve people by teaching them what you're an expert about, and you're making life easier and better for them.
Oh, so well said. So well said. I really do think that if you are, if you start doing like podcasting, video casting, those TV shows, things like we call it TV, internet TV, if you start doing all of those things simply because you want to be in the limelight, it's not going to last long because you really have to be authentic, right? People really are smart nowadays, and they don't go for that. They tune in for particular reasons. They tune in. They don't really, and I often say sometimes because I have this debate with my son, right? My son is in his 20s and he's going to college and stuff, and they're talking about like the what is it called? Like all of a sudden, they do these weird videos and you watch them and they get all the views and they get all that. Like, what's the purpose of that?
Right.
You're not, number one, you're not learning anything. You're not connecting with the person. Maybe you might be laughing or whatever at the moment, but you're a one-hit wonder. I mean, it's going to be gone out the window. You
right.
really
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think you're really onto something. So many people think they just post and post and post on social media. Their post is going to go viral. They're going to get the attention. It's going to change their life overnight. And that might have been true in the dawn of social media, but it's not true anymore in this day and age. Right now, if a post went viral tomorrow, you'd maybe gain a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand followers, but they're there for the spectacle or the draw or the humor of what brought them to that viral post. They're not going to click and buy your service. They're not going to become followers that stay. They're going to follow until you stop being interesting to them, which could literally be the next post if it was a one-off trend that made you go viral. And they're going to go away. Though you're not going to be able to convert those people. And if you do, it's very, very rare into customers or clients or people that stick around long-term. And so I think all the time, energy, and effort people are putting to social media and the hoping to go viral. No, you could be on one platform like this. I've had clients do it. They've had one podcast, they've had one magazine article, and it's literally created a 6-month wait list for their services because they were on a platform that gave them the authority to showcase their skills to the right people, and it brought business to them. And so it's our borrowed lane stuff. Post as much as you want to on social media if it's fun, but don't treat it like a job and like it's the be all end all, because going viral, it's not, that is the flash in the pan fame that isn't going to equate to anything for you. But it also brings up, I hear all the time from people, well, social media, I need social media. I need a manager. I need this. It's all the time, all this money going out for social media. And then they're like, but also AI is just going to come for my job. Like, who needs this or that, because AI can do it for me. And the truth is, AI is great for very, very many things, like deep research or helping you find answers to things or double checking something. But what AI lacks, it's a robot. It's an algorithm written by one person who thinks one way. It takes the human aspect out of it. And I think that's what we're all craving, especially now post-pandemic, with how the world is, it could be on fire behind us, but we're craving closeness. There's a return to long form writing. There's a return to longer videos. There's a return to letter writing and reading actual physical papers and magazines, because people want tangible to feel connected with people. And AI doesn't accommodate for that. It takes the humanity out of something. We all like to interact with people. You have guests on your show because you want to hear their stories. It's one of the first questions you ask every single person that comes on. Like, tell me what you do. Tell me why you do it. Tell me the story behind it. That's what hooks people in, and that's what makes them interested. AI can't do that for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's so important, is really truly understanding what makes a person tick. Why are they doing what they do? Why are they working so hard on doing what they do? And then how can it help, the audience or help individuals? So yeah, I think you're so right. You're so spot on. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to have to probably close the show here in a few minutes. I know the time goes by so fast. We gained so much information, and I want to thank you for sharing, because you went right down the list and gave us a lot of really concrete information that I think those that are listening can truly take it away and do something with it, and a lot of people don't like to do that because they don't want to give their secrets away. We don't want to tell people how to be successful. We want them to come to us so we can show them how to be successful. And you've been so kind to really share a lot of your expertise with us. I know you've got so much more on the plate that we could probably pick your brain on. So is there any last words that you'd like to share with us in closing?
Yes, I want to remind everyone, the biggest thing that they can do as soon as this show wraps and they're done watching or listening is go get your house in order. Make sure the way that you want people to think and talk about your business is the only thing that they see when they Google you, no matter if it's your website, your social media, or a third-party site. That is the best thing that you can do for your business right this second.
Oh, that's great advice. And it's true, because as we said, we've talked before on the break, is like, you want to make sure all your links are working, everything's working. Ask a friend. Once you get everything up, ask a friend to go in and check all your stuff for you and make sure all the links are working, because that's so vital. And keep doing it. I know I've got to go back and do mine again, because you have to keep checking to make sure that the link didn't get, broken or something like that. So you want to make sure that you do that. Well, I want to thank you so much, KJ. You've been wonderful. KJ Blattenbauer, you are a wonderful person. I want to thank you so much for being with us here today. You've given us so much information. And everyone, please, if you want to email her at kj@hearsaypr.com, and you just go to hearsaypr.com is her website. And again, it's HEARSAYPR.com. So make sure that you go check her out. She's got a wealth of information. I'm sure just the list goes on and on and on of all that you can help. You've been doing this for like, what is it, 30 years? It can't be 30 years.
It's 28 years. Yep. Since 1997, since before the internet.
You must have been doing this when you were in diapers.
Freshman year of college. You know, you find what you love, and I love sharing people's stories. I was always the kid that had talks too much on her report card, and look at me now.
No, I don't think you talk too much. I think you give good information, which is well worth listening to. So thank you so much. So we really, truly appreciate you being here with us today. And we'd love to welcome you back again. If it's something that you might like to do sometime in the future, we'd love to have you. So thank you for spending your time with us. We do truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, everyone. You guys are listening to BizBuzz Igniting Success right here on the newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Bold. And that's exactly what you should be doing, going bold in your business and going solo. We are, wanting to really get out there and really help you be able to help yourself and work on your business together. And again, on our WGSN-DB Going Solo Network radio station, please tune in, listen, and everything is internet based. All of our products and services, everything that we have is internet based. We want to thank you for that. Please check out our Going Solo directory. We've got all of our wonderful individuals on there, all their links, all their information. You can you definitely reach them that way. Is another good way if you're looking for help with something. But I want to thank KJ for helping us here today. Thank you so much. And we hope that you'll be here again. I am Cece Shatz, fondly called the Doyenne of Relationship Building. And I want to thank you for listening to BizBuzz Igniting Success Business Show. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.